This is actually true. And it's taken from leadership material. So it's a kind of a universally human thing. This is just the way it is. If you want to be trusted with more, you have to be trustworthy with less. Luke chapter 16, right? He who is faithful in a very little thing is faithful also in much. He who is unrighteous in a very little thing is unrighteous also in much. The scripture there, which though awkwardly translated for some reason, is essentially like, if you can handle less, you can be trusted with more. But if you can't handle what you have now, I'm not going to give you more. And I think we talked about, like, in this whole topic, we're talking about tests, tests that God gives, tests that life gives. What is the benefit of the tests? Is it always bad? And the answer is no. The tests show you who you are. The tests show you, how far you've come. They show you the stuff you have to work on. They show you like your weaknesses and your strengths. Like, they are revelatory. This is what I need to work on. Those tests show you who you are. For a content creator, first off, it's okay to want to grow. I think that is the first thing. If you're a Christian content creator, and this is something that you've struggled with, I know that some of us do. I know I'm always back and forth on this thing. And that is, is it okay for a content creator to want to grow, to want to get big, to want to have more influence, to want to have more viewers and followers and stuff? I think it's a delicate dance. I think we have to ask ourselves the question, why do we want to? If you are trying to build a digital community and you have a heart for the online folk who are going through stuff, and it's like, man, I really wish I could serve more people. I could love more people. I could help my community serve more people. Like, all that, if you can get there, then I think it absolutely makes sense. Like, if you open up a youth center or a soup kitchen or a drop-in or a homeless shelter in downtown, and you were like, yeah, I'm okay with only serving 3. And like, in your city, there are, 100 people that are homeless around you on so many blocks. And you're like, yeah, I just want to serve the 3 I have. Like, that's not the point. The point is, how can we serve more people that have the need that we're trying to provide? And, there's going to be growing pains and stuff, but like the instinct to serve more is fine. Well, we do dream of going viral, having a huge charity stream, partnering with big creators, being courted by brands. That is a good thing, but God doesn't usually start you there. There are some people that are born with a silver spoon. There are some people that, go weirdly viral right away. There's, we've seen examples of this, and there's other people that, it makes them crazy. As soon as they grow, they're like, let's make a crypto. Let's figure out how I can, maximize my profit. Let's, sell out. How many brands can I do this with? And let's, in what way do I need to embarrass myself or embarrass someone else or hurt myself? Like how do I get this back? Because this is now, if I lose this is everything I am, and it actually damages them. And so I think the best way to grow has a deliberateness to it, a slowness to it, a training, gradual, and stretching. And he stretches through the tests. God doesn't start you there. He starts you with the obscure, the mundane, the unglamorous, the grind to serve a few. Right now, we are in the obscure, and the obscure basically meaning people don't generally see what I do. I have been obscure for my whole life. Like, I take the term Christian Ninja seriously. Like, it's not just, some people think it's because I wanted to capitalize on ninja, like the Fortnite guy, but I had that name before he did. The Christian Ninja came from an experience with Matthew chapter 6, where I was thinking about, kind of the things that Christians do that nobody else is supposed to see. And every time I think, I get that sort of thought in my head of, why aren't I getting more attention? Why, I really wish I could, go big, I really more successful. I feel too small. I feel like I'm not earning the right to speak or whatever. The thought, the brain, like my brain is like, Christian Ninja, bud, Christian Ninja. You are living to affect the world in a way that things change, but it's going to be through obscurity, and that's okay. Sometimes I get handed the microphone, but generally, the majority of the work happens behind the scenes with people who nobody knows, and they often they'll be helped, and then they'll go off, they'll forget who I am, and that's totally fine. But I have to remind myself that it is often obscure, right? It happens behind the scenes. When I serve someone, it doesn't go viral. Nobody seems to notice. Things are happening, but nobody's seeing it. The mundane, as in I'm not super energized by this. It's not like I have these crazy super exciting things happening. It's just another Tuesday stream. It's just another podcast episode. It's just another piece of work. It's just another thing that I have to do because I'm a content creator, so I'm creating the content. But it's not like it's blowing everybody's mind. I'm just being obedient and doing what I need to do, whether it be going to school or anything, right? This is like I'm doing this thing that is necessary but isn't super exciting, unglamorous. Like the way that you're doing it isn't with the best equipment. It isn't with the nicest lighting. It isn't with the fastest computer. It isn't with the best microphone. It isn't with the coolest graphic pack. You're just like in there, coffee, decided not to shower that morning because you just want to get to work. And it's not pretty. It's not like you turn on the YouTube stream and all of a sudden you see like this beautiful pastel neon sign in the background, perfect like bokeh effect like all the way, and then the person sitting there prim proper, perfectly structured like a little plant, and you're like, man, my office doesn't look like that at all. Like, it's not glamorous. And we grind, as in it's a lot of work, to serve only a few, right? That's usually where it starts. So 5 questions about getting the small stuff right. I'm not trying to make you feel bad, okay? This isn't an intention to feel bad. This is just a thought experiment, like something to analyze yourself. I'm going to assume you want to get big, and I'm going to ask you the question when it comes to the test of get the small stuff right before you go big. Here's the first question. We'll go through the questions. Number 1, are you engaging with the people you have now, or are you waiting for a bigger audience, right? Chat, comments, Discord, mods, all that stuff. The mods that you have now, maybe it's only 1. Are you caring for them? Are you thanking them? The chat, you have now with the 1 or 2 people, are you engaging with it? Are you doing well at engaging with it? Are you trying to be a good content creator for them? Or are you like, well, it's only 1 person. Oh, well, it's only 5 people. And I know who all they are, so I don't really need to put the effort in. The comments that come into your YouTube channel or your TikTok or Instagram or whatever, are you actually engaging with them? You're like, well, if I had, 1,000 people comment, I would be in there looking for comments and I'd be digging. Are you doing that with the comments you're getting now? I think one of the ways that you grow is by proving that you care for and you want to serve. And again, the biggest difference between Christian content creation and regular content creation is we see what we do as service, an active service to others. And so therefore, are you using it to serve? Or are you waiting for something bigger to happen before you really do engage with them? I know plenty of content creators who have a completely dead Discord. This has been a perennial problem. It's something that I've seen a lot. You go into someone's stream and you'd be like, this is cool. And then they'll say, come to my Discord. And that Discord will be dead. There's no content there. There's no engagement there. The person who's actually on stream doesn't go there except to post a go live. They kind of expect the people who come to the Discord to, entertain themselves. It's like, come over to my house and play in my backyard while I'm inside doing something else. It's not how it works, right? If you invite someone to your Discord, if you say you want comments, if you say you want engagement, are you engaging? Number 2. Second question, are you consistent with your schedule and quality, or do you create when you feel like it? A small creator that I would argue, isn't going to grow well is a content creator that creates by feel. There is a time, and this is why we have the class, this is why we have, Discord, this is why we have, like, you can call me and stuff, because there is a time where you're experimenting. You don't know what you're doing. You're like, what am I going to create? Who am I creating for? What am I doing? What platform am I supposed to be on? And you're experimenting. You're all over the place. You're still orienting your schedule. You're still orienting your life. You're still trying to figure out where that is. Things are uncertain. You haven't really settled. Like, this Saturday at 7 p.m. is when I'm going to do it. It's not all settled. And so you're still bouncing around. That's super normal. But in your content schedule, or in the content that you're releasing, is it generally controlled by you? Even if you don't feel like it, you're treating it like a job, or you're treating it with seriousness. And the quality, when it comes to the quality, are you releasing things you're not proud of? It's like, well, I felt like doing this now and I'm going to release it. Who knows? I know a ton of small creators that aren't really experimenting. It's one thing to be like, well, I'm going to release, a short that does this. I'm going to release a video about that. I'm going to, release a picture about this. I'm going to do an episode about that and see what happens. You have to do that. You got to figure yourself out for sure. But they're more along the lines of they'll release the lowest quality stuff possible in hopes that it'll magically get better, right? Like for the greatest example I can think of is Twitch streamers who release their VODs on YouTube. Straight copy, right? No editing, no nothing. Like they streamed to, let's say, 8 people, and they played a game for 4 hours, and they put the effort into taking that 4-hour stream and putting it on YouTube. And the question is why? What do you think's going to happen there? The instinct seems to be, well, if I put it there, maybe somebody will watch it. Maybe somebody will come by. Maybe, there'll be something that happens. My argument is if you're releasing stuff with low quality, low effort, low energy, low impact, low purpose, you can't build an audience. You simply can't. If you're doing this by feeling or by the lowest common denominator, you're going to end up not blessing or helping or serving or creating anything of value. So my second question, as a small creator, are you trying to be consistent with your schedule and consistent with your quality as high as you can get it, whatever that is, like not perfection, but you believe that when you release it, it's a good thing. Or are you running by emotion, right? Either, I'm going to release this. Hopefully it'll be fine. I don't really care. I'll make another video, or I'll only stream when I feel like it. One of the issues about streaming when you feel like it, like say you feel like it on a Saturday, and on that Saturday you meet like 10 people and they come into your stream and they follow and they're like, hey, this is really cool. But then you don't feel like streaming on a Saturday again. Next time you feel like streaming on a Friday, next time you feel like streaming on Sunday afternoon. And so therefore the people that you convinced to come and hang out with you and that wanted to hit follow and want to see what you do next, they're available on Saturday night. That's when they showed up. And so they're not going to be chasing you down at other times. That's when they were available. Next question. Just talked about quality, right? Like the end result. This is what happens before you get the quality. Are you doing the prep work needed for excellence or cutting corners? The quality you get in the last question comes from the prep work, right? Are you watching your VODs back if you're a streamer? Actually seeing what you sound like, listening to your audio balance, listening to, like the game versus your voice. What does it look like? Can people read what's on the screen? Is it pleasant to watch? Is there something distracting? Like, are you watching through your VOD every now and again to see what the experience is like on the other side? Are you scripting what you're going to say? If you are a podcaster, how many times have you heard, we should start a podcast, we're hilarious? There are people who actually follow through on that. And what they do is they just kind of sit there and they riff. And they riff for 2.5 hours. And then they release a 2.5-hour episode that is all over the place. Like, what was your episode about? Well, we started by talking about, this subject, but then we talked about football, and that kind of led to talking about sports in general, which someone had then talked about, the faith of this guy that's on the team. And then we were starting talking about sort of our own stuff and our own issues and our own problems, like, because people, like we want to help people, so sharing about our problems. But that came at, hour and a half in. We have to get through all the football stuff and all the extra stuff first. And the title doesn't say stuff we went through. Title says, game we're talking about. It makes no sense to show up and to give a unprepared podcast, an unprepared episode that comes out of nowhere. And you just hope you're so interesting at all times throughout the entire thing that the audience is captivated. There are very few people who can do that. Like, you take Dave Chappelle, you sit him down and you go, be interesting for 30 minutes. He can, right? He can do that. Many of us can't. So are you scripting? Are you at least planning? Do you have something in front of you? Even if you are streaming or if you are, putting together some kind of live event, it doesn't matter. Having the understanding of where you're going, what you're doing, and having a plan is a big difference. You're going to make a lot better product, and it respects your audience more. It's important for the audience to know what to expect, especially for new people. if you're not consistent now and you're going by feel, how much more so when things become much more high pressure, when there's a lot more people setting expectation, a lot more people that are trying to show up, you know, and they're like, okay, on Thursday, this is when I show up because they're my favorite creator, or I can't wait till they drop that video or drop that song. If you can't do it now, why do you think you'd be able to do it when you're big? Same thing with the prep work, right? If you don't have the time to do the prep work, you're not setting aside time for excellence, what is necessary, and you're cutting corners and things are broken and you're not fixing them, then when it gets bigger and busier and more things are happening and more people are expecting you and there's more stuff going on, you're gonna have to cut more corners because you've set that as the precedence. Next one, are you looking for ways to serve other creators, or you focus solely on your own content? I believe that as a content creator who's a Christian content creator, one of the things that we do is we see our content and we see our lives as servants of all. You want to be great in God's kingdom, be a servant of all. Right now, as you're creating a small creator or just starting, if that's where you are and you're only focused on you and you're kind of I'm taking free stuff from sites, I'm taking ideas from people, I'm asking for people to come to my stuff, I'm asking for shout outs, I'm going on to other people's discords and I'm sharing my stuff so they come to me. And for you, the way that you're running your content is just pulling in, you're using other content creators, right? That's the only thing. You're not giving back. Then you are going to do even more so when you're big, because you'd be like, well, now I have a big thing I got to take care of. I need even more help. When you're not younger, smaller, it is far better to set the expectation for yourself to ask, how can I serve more creators? How can I serve more people? How can I serve the community? Not only will that help your heart to be in the right place, but you'll meet more people. You will, get more cool ideas. You'll discover more fun stuff. Like it's a better way to live. But if you're not doing it now, why do you think you're going to start doing that then? The last one here, are you paying attention to the numbers, or are you ignoring the complex and boring part? As you're small now, you have very few numbers to deal with, right? You have your retention rate, you have the analytics of discovery, you have the income that you have, the cost, whether even in life, right? Just like your current income. Do you have a budget for your house? Do you have a budget for your life? Do you have a, you have a plan for the future kind of thing? Do you know what you're doing? Or are your finances a wreck and you're not tracking anything and you don't know where the money's coming from? And you really hope it's there. And like every time you go buy something, it's like a slot machine is on the debit card. Like if that's where you're at, it's only going to get worse later. If they dumped $1 million in your lap, you wouldn't suddenly become great with money. You would do the same thing, but bigger. Every good big creator, and you look at Mr. Beast is a great example of someone who his secret to success really is understanding the numbers, right? He admits that he does the numbers. I know what will be popular, and I know because I worked through what people want and what thumbnail they'll click on, because we did 1 million experiments to see what they'll do, because he's working on the numbers on the analytical side. I'm not saying you have to be obsessed with it. In fact, if you're obsessed with it, it's going to be a problem. But if you're ignoring it and you want to grow, if you miraculously do somehow, you're going to fumble the ball. I released another video, and why didn't it do that well? You go in and you realize that you have a habit of something, and if you would have just chopped that part out, you'd have more retention. Or your discovery, you don't realize that your links are broken. You go to your Twitch page, you go to your About, you go to your YouTube, and your links are broken. So that's why they're not clicking. You don't get the click through. Or you have great videos. Maybe you have the great videos, but your thumbnails are terrible. But if you're ignoring the complex and boring part of all the numbers stuff now in your life, in your real life, in your content, then when you get big, there's only more numbers and it's only more complex and it's only more difficult, which means you won't have been trained to be able to, with the smaller stuff, to be able to make adjustments. You will just fumble the opportunity you were given.